So, in your journey and with what you're doing here, tell me a little bit more, about how you got to where you are and where you are today and what you're doing today. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay. That makes perfect sense. So, yeah, I in '08 I took over a company doing sawmill and dry kiln construction and modification and stuff like that. Basically, technical term would be like a millwright.
Yeah.
A millwright company, and promptly failed, and then had to go get jobs, plural, and wound up working for a company, solving problems for this company. Great company called Diamondback Truck Bed Covers.
I have one on my truck that is out there. I absolutely think they're amazing.
Yep. I started out just as a CAD monkey, just trying to hide and not get found out that I worked there.
Yeah.
And told to go home because the job was over. And in the end, I worked there for several years, full time, doing everything from customer service, sales, all the way to production welding and everything in between. I was mostly just a maintenance and problem solver, solutions guy. And a great place to work. It was a great company. I appreciate the owners and what they've built over the years. But at a certain point, I found myself giving too much to the company and then having to give even more to my own business. And the only people that I ever said no to was my wife.
Yeah.
Or the people who lived in my home. And so I was working average, I would say 55 hours a week at Diamondback. And then I was averaging 40 plus hours in my own shop working in the oil field. So I would actually drive a welding truck or my truck and trailer to work, work all day, and then go out into the oil field after work till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then drive back to Diamondback. There were times where I would just sleep under my desk and then get up at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I remember days like that. I would sleep in my office.
Yeah.
And we leased the office. I remember one time I actually out in the foyer in the office that I leased, they had a couch. And I put a sleeping bag and a pillow behind the couch. And
so no one would see.
The landlord came one day and he said, "Hey, is everything okay at home? I noticed that there's a pillow and there's a blanket back there." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh yeah, sometimes I come in at 1 o'clock in the morning and work, and then I'm tired and I lay down for a little bit."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the problem was, and it's not a problem, they compensated me for my time, but I was sleeping in their office.
Come on, I get it.
And I had gotten to the point where the work at my shop was generating enough income that it didn't matter if they paid me or not. I was losing money by coming to work. Yeah. And so, and actually, I don't even want to say that. It got to the point where it never had anything to do with money. It was all, I am expending this energy.
Come on.
Somebody else's, which is valuable and important and awesome. But I have things that I need to do. It wasn't it's a nice hobby. And if it doesn't work out, it was like, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to die.
You were starting to not be able to breathe?
Yeah. Well, the whole time I worked there, I couldn't breathe. The whole time. It's never been an itch like, oh, well, I think maybe I'd like to be in business for myself.
Yeah.
Business was not an option. It wasn't a thing that I decided to do. Owning my own shop or anything. It wasn't like, well, maybe. And then I could call my dad and go work there. I had no backup plan, no safety net, no nothing. If I didn't work, I didn't eat. And that's what made me feel alive and hopeful and like, yep, it's a sure thing going to work every day for 40 hours a week. It is, until it's not. And you don't have any control over when the not is.
The reality is I don't think it is a sure thing. That's one of the first things that I learned when I went into business for myself. Yeah. I worked for a great company. They paid really well. And I realized, it's not a sure thing for them either.
No, they're just barely making it anyway. They're what?
Most I think that they're more than barely making it. They were way better at it than I am.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not talking.
They also had 60 years to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm not talking specific companies. I'm talking like generally speaking. Most people who are in business or companies that are out there are what? 1, 2, 3 months from bankruptcy. They're 2 bad bounces from going under. Yeah. Like that's just reality.
They're one bad job away from the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and that's okay. Like that's just life. So anyway, I had to leave and went back out onto my own, worked full time in the oil field.
In the oil field. Tell me a
Oil
little bit
field,
about that.
yeah.
Was it here in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, here in
So there's
Pennsylvania.
oil fields here?
Yeah, so there's Marcellus Shale and Utica Shale gas here in Pennsylvania, and back then, 2010, 11, 12.
Oh, it was a
timeframe.
big deal back then.
Yeah, and I will say, having been in the industry for a long time, it's still a big deal. It just looks a little different.
Yeah.
People are like, how come there's just a driver? All those companies decided back then they were going to invest in Pennsylvania, and they're going to be here forever.
Yeah.
It's just they don't need to build any more lease roads anymore.
Right.
Like the lease roads are already built. The
Right.
pads are already constructed. They're
Yeah.
going to pump oil out of here forever.
Yeah.
And gas. And they've been doing it forever.
At least a couple of your and my lifetimes for sure.
Yeah, 100%. They're going to do
Yeah.
it for as long as humanly possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's
And
no
that's
other
good.
Option.
That's good for all of us.
It is.
It is truly good for all of us.
And good oil. Like I would, some people are like, well, not in my backyard. I want it in my backyard. I want American oil production, because if you go to the Gobi Desert in China and watch how they drill for oil, if you go down to Venezuela and watch how they drill for oil, if you go to Africa and see how they drill for oil, it's awful, and it's all the bad things. In America, at the very least, they'll clean up after themselves.
Yeah.
At the very least, they'll do their best.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
Well, there's an organization in the mining industry. Their name is Better in Our Backyard, and that's because
I didn't actually know that. That's just what I think.
And they
I want it here.
I did some podcasts with them, and they really truly believe in that, and it's an organization which is an association of the people who do the work.
Yeah.
That they desire to make it better in our backyard, and we have we have one of the largest deposits of, like, the minerals that we need for rare earth metals and whatnot is in Duluth, Minnesota.
Let's go.
They call it the Duluth Complex.
Let's get it.
And it's like, and they want to be going after that stuff, and they're working tirelessly behind the scenes. And this is some of what we talked about earlier. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows the men and women who are in the mines, who are doing the work, the men and women that are on the oil fields, and those who are out there doing the work that you can power your electric car, you can drive your diesel truck, you can have your heat on in the winter. You can enjoy, like, I don't know if you understand, if you like AI or things like that, there is huge infrastructure that needs to exist for that to function the way that it does. It's fascinating when you can tell AI to solve a problem for you, and it takes about 50 seconds, but that doesn't happen without the men and women who do the work.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody wants a corner office, but nobody wants to build one.
Well, I want a corner office, but it's with a view like that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Absolutely.
I love where I live. But so anyway, yeah. So went out on my own again, full time, and then that was during the boom in the oil field. It was great. Love it. To this day I just love the oil field. It's like a crazy ex-girlfriend. Like you have that weird connection, and as much as you love her, she'll never love you back. And she likes to abuse you and use you. That's what the oil field is.
And that sounds like a song from the 80s.
And some people, they love it, and it gets in their blood, and it's in me. I don't regret anything, and I loved it. It was great. There were days where I would go out to a job, who knows what it was, do this job on a rig, and then it'd be 4 or 5 days later, and I'd be in another state.
Yeah.
And like still working. And I just love that. I love the energy, like the drive, the get it done, just whatever it takes. Everything's an emergency.
Yeah.
That's also gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't live like that forever. And so, and during a boom time, or during a bust, I quit work. I kind of took a break for almost a year, did some other things, went back to landscaping, dug up some trees. No matter what I do, I have this like weird ability to take ownership of it. And so I went, and during the interview at this landscaping company, I said, listen, I have a lot of experience. I don't want to do any of it. I want to be a laborer for like the whole summer.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. And by the end of the summer, I had a crew, and I had my own truck, and they're like, you want to work here forever? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to work here forever.
You were fine with being part of a team,
I just
but
wanted
you didn't want to be part of the
I
family.
did not want to be in, And so I left there, got back into welding, which was great. Went back into the oil field because there was a boom again. Started doing structural, doing all kinds of stuff, and all by myself. Didn't have any employees, and it was hard. It was some people say, oh, it's feast or famine. It was mostly famine,
Yeah.
but it was fun, and we had a blast. That fast forwards me up to about 2019, and I was down in West Virginia working on a rig, and this guy, it's about 3:00 in the morning. It's whatever. It's about 3:00 in the morning. I'm walking across the rig. If anybody's worked outside at night for a long time, they know that there's dark, and then there's the dark.
Yeah, like you can't see your hand in front of your face.
We're on a drilling rig.
Yeah.
Like there's a 120-foot triple rig, like walker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just freaking awesome. I mean, just stuff everywhere. We're drilling like crazy. Got directional driller in a shack. You got this guy. You got that guy. There's trucks running all night long. Stuff's on fire. The flare stack's going. It's just awesome. I love it. But it's 3:00 in the morning. It's as cold as it's going to be. It's as dark as it's going to be. And I'm walking across the pad, and this dude's sitting on the porch of the driller's shack, or the company man's shack. He's sitting on the porch, and he's got his little dog, little King Charles Cavalier Spaniel or whatever. It's a great little dog. And I go, hey, dude, that's a great little dog. And he's smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee out of a styrofoam cup. 3:00 in the morning. He's
Stereotypes exist because they're real.
Yeah, he's drinking his coffee, smoking a cigarette, 3:00 in the morning, sitting on his porch, and he's in his mid-50s, and he looks me, I mean, dead in the eyes. And he looks at me and he goes, seeing more of that dog than I ever did of my kids.
Wow.
And then he goes back to smoking his cigarette. And in that moment, I mean,
that'll grab your attention.
Stopped me dead in my tracks.
How old were your kids at this time?
They were, that would have been 19. Malachi was 9. Selah was 12.
Wow.
So they're getting to the point where it's an important time.
Yeah.
You know, and so he said that to me, and it shook me to my core. And I sat down that night, and I thought to myself, if I want the success that that individual has in this industry, I have to give what he gave. And so this guy, like the truck he drives on location, you guys have these Broncos, and you're Ford guys, I guess, and you've heard of a Ford Raptor. It's a F-150.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a $70,000-$80,000 F-150. No, he didn't have one of those. He had a custom built, I think they're called a T-Rex. It's an F-250 with a 6.7 twin turbo Power Stroke blown out to like 500 horsepower with full Baja race prep, custom body and suspension. Thing runs over 150 grand.
Wow.
This is just what he drove to work.
Wow.
And that was not even his nice car. That was his work truck. Okay? So when Dave Ramsey says, the guy driving an $80,000 pickup truck to the work site said, he's known as a doofus or a nerd or whatever. No, he's not.
Yeah.
He's cool.
Yeah.
Like Dave Ramsey got that one wrong.
Yeah.
So in order for me to get
We're definitely going to post that in the trailer and tag Dave.
Tag him. I love Dave Ramsey. But anyway, this guy, he said that to me, and I looked at what he had, and I said, if in this industry, the oil industry, I want to get, and that's where I was going.
Yeah.
I want to be where he is. I want to make the money he's making. I got to give what he gave.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not willing to do that. I walked into the company man shack that morning, that changes shift, day shift company man comes out. I said, hey, they're both there. I said, hey, I'm done. I'll finish out this week. Like it's a 2-week hitch. I said, I'll finish out this hitch. And then you got 2 weeks to find somebody else because I ain't coming back.
So let's talk about that for a second there, because we talked in our earlier conversation just about, you know, you don't need to stay places forever, but let's talk about the right way to leave.
I gave 100% the entire time for my last week and a half on that hitch. That was a Wednesday. I had a week and a half left. I gave 100%. I did everything. The guy who came in, I let him know. The guy who I was subbed out to, I called him. His name was Brad. I said, hey, man, this is what's going on. I'm done. They were all sorry. They tried to call me back. They tried to get me to stay. I said, I can't. This is why I'm leaving. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we can't begrudge you that one.
Yeah.
And I left. And I've left. I have been working since I was 12 years old, officially, from the hot rod shop to today. And there isn't one single job there's one job that I couldn't get back. And the reason I left that job was because I had to go home for Easter. And I said, I'm going home. And they said, well, if you go home, don't come back. I said, I'm not coming back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There's not one, that's the only job I left that I'm not able to go get. I could get any job that I've ever left right now.
Well, and you talked earlier about, you do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, if you're in a company and you have agreed to their employee handbook
Yep.
and it says give them 2 weeks,
Yeah. Give them 2
or
weeks.
if it said, and do what you did, give that full out there. Like, don't cut it short, and don't burn your bridges
Don't ever
because
burn a
you have
bridge.
no idea
Yeah.
what's going to happen. There've been so many people that I have worked with that I'm no longer their employee, but now we're partnering things together and working together. And the way that I handled myself, and the interesting thing too is when I go back in time to when I was in those places when I was younger, you're constantly collecting data as you age. You're constantly collecting data. The data that I didn't have back then could fill 100,000 square foot warehouse and beyond.
Yeah.
And the reality was, when I handled it right, it created an opportunity when I had more data to be able to continue that relationship in a right way, even if it would be different.
In the nitty gritty of it, I know for a fact someone's going to be listening to this and be like, well, I gave my 2 weeks and they let me go the next morning. And I will say this, no one's going to want to hear this. That's because you suck. Okay. The reason why I gave 2 weeks and they didn't just send me home is because I was good at what I was doing.
Yeah.
I have skills. I don't just have the hard skills of like, I'm not even a very good welder.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to quit.
Come on.
And I don't care if so one night at that on that rig, like I'm a welder. I was actually like my official, I don't even want to get into it, but at one point they were skidding a rig and the pumps were not connected. It was pouring down rain. Within 15 minutes of starting my shift at 5 o'clock at night, I was nipple deep in a cellar, the cellar was filling up with oil-based drilling fluid and rainwater as I'm trying to hook up a hydraulic pump underwater.
Come on.
And I was literally soaked. My muck boots were filled with mud. And when I say mud, if somebody doesn't know what mud is on a drill rig, it's oil.
Yeah.
It's oil-based drilling fluid. What's in it? Everything terrible. Benzene, all the things that you're supposed to wear gloves because it's going to kill you. I was nipple deep in it 15 minutes into a shift, 12-hour shift.
Wow.
And you know what I did for the rest of the night? Worked.
Yeah.
Did I have something to change into? Yeah, because I'm not an idiot. I have clothes in my truck. So I changed my clothes, I changed my boots, and I went back out to work. And you know what? As soon as we were done working, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the rain quit.
That is the way that it works. That is the way that it works.
And then I still had another till 5 o'clock in the morning to be done. But anyway, if you're leaving a job, the way you get to leave well is by being a good employee the whole time.
Yeah.
You proved yourself. If you and
you're 100% right. If they let you go the next day, that should be a sign to you. You didn't give your all.
Yeah.
In that.
And it's okay if you don't want to. But don't expect anything less or anything more.
Yeah.
Than what you're willing to give. Don't expect things you're not willing to bleed for. And I've gotten many times in my career, people are like, "Oh, you're just a company man. You're a suck up." Yeah, I am, I guess. I am a yes man. Hey, you want to hop in that cellar and shit? Yes, I do. I do.
Yeah.
You are paying me a lot of money to be here. Yeah. And I will do whatever it takes to stay here and grind this out.
What do you say to a young man or a young woman that's listening right now and they say, yeah, well, they're not paying me a lot of money?
They will.
I love how you didn't even hesitate.
They will.
Yeah.
That's the truth. You're right. You're going to have to do things that suck for little to no money to get to the point where they will reward you well. And if you're doing it only for money,
oh, come on.
You are doing it for the wrong reasons. I have been on jobs that I was
what did you say just a few seconds ago? If you're not willing to bleed for it,
don't expect to
like
get
if you're in the trades and you're not prepared to bleed, then you
out.
misunderstand what
get
it
out.
is.
Get out.
Yeah.
If you're an old guy in the trades and you want to sit in your truck and look at your phone and then complain that the boys are out there looking at their phones and being late to work, they're doing exactly what you're doing. They are learning from you how to suck in this business.
Yeah.
Okay? And the fact that you can keep your company isn't because you're awesome. It's because we're so desperate for work.
Yeah.
and people to do it. We're
Come
so desperate in this environment right now because people are retiring and there's no one. It's not because you're a business guru or a genius or whatever. It's because there's no one else.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to get out there and do all the things and fight for it, man, go pick something else. Go be an employee somewhere. Go work for somebody. But anyway, all that to say, there I was on this drill rig. I said, I'm done. I'm out of here. I can't give what was required in this industry to get the success and the money that they're willing to. I've seen guys, this is to go back to like the money part of like, is money the main motivator? Money is the worst motivator.
Why is
people.
that?
Because it doesn't matter long term.
What do you mean by that? Like, tell me more.
Like, short term, money solves problems. Like, okay, I want to build a pool. The more money I have, the faster I can get a pool done.
Okay.
But the object, the pool, isn't going to solve the deeply besetting issues internally. I want my kids to want to come home.
Come on.
I'm literally building a pool right now. Like I'm not actually started yet, but we're going to be building a pool at my house. I'm building a pool because my heart is that when my kids are older and they're married, I want them to come home sometimes.
Yeah.
And money isn't going to make that happen.
Boy, that's the truth.
It's just not, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too down in the weeds of my feels, but like, I want my house to be full of love.
Yeah.
And money isn't going to happen. Like, I've watched guys, I was 13, 14 years old shoveling snow. There's a guy making over $200 an hour to run a piece of equipment in the middle of a snowstorm. And I'm making $15 an hour. And he quit.
Yeah.
It wasn't money that kept me there. It was those guys gave me value that I couldn't put into a monetary system.
Yeah.
They made me feel a way that was real. Yeah. They said, if you stick it out, we're with you and you're with me. It's like people don't. So
there's a feeling like that you just can't.
I can't put it into words or whatever. So if you are an E5 in the Navy, you make a set number of dollars.
Yeah.
Some E5s in the Navy are machinists, and they make that much money.
Yeah.
And some E5s are Navy SEALs. The risk to reward doesn't work out.
Great example.
You don't get paid more to be a Navy SEAL.
Come on.
But you give 100%. I would imagine. I'm not a Navy SEAL. I've never even been in the military. I've been out here gutting myself for nothing for all these years, spilling my blood for nothing. Money isn't the motivator. People don't climb across the Alps for dollars.
Yeah.
They do it for love. They do, and I know that's like so frou-frou. They do it because something matters, because there's something bigger. There's a purpose bigger than yourself. We're a part of something that's going to last forever.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's big pie in the sky. Like, oh, those big companies, all they care about is money. You know what, though? I work for really big companies. The smallest company that I work for grosses over $300 million a year. That's the smallest company I work for.
Holy crap.
Okay. I did a little job for a little company that
we need to talk off air about some of these companies, and I need to go.
They make way less money, and I'm not going to work for them again. It's not because they're bad.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, they're just money hungry. They're this or that. You know what? At the end of the day, I don't actually work for a big company. Like, my business does not work for a big company. I work for a guy named Jeremy.
Come on.
And when push comes to shove, my hope is that he values the contribution that we make enough to call us next month.
You know, you talk about that, and that's one of the biggest things that I had to learn in business. I used to think, oh, you build a relationship with this company, and you build a relationship with this company.
No, it's a guy named Tim.
Exactly.
Like,
it is the individual,
dude, Dave.
And then they go there to that company, and then you go with them.
Yeah.
And that's how you want it, because you know what happens when you build a relationship with an organization and not an individual? The organization will screw you and not think twice about it.
So I think about it in this way, because I believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
I've been reading my Bible for a long time. There's a verse that scares me so bad. So Joseph was this guy, Technicolor Dreamcoat. He had a dream, said he was going to like rule over his brothers, rule over pretty much the whole world in this dream. Yeah. And then he got sold into slavery. And then he got out of slavery and got accused of rape and got put in jail. Then he winds up actually being the second in charge of the empire of Egypt and saves his brothers, saves the nation, saves Egypt. 400 plus years later, there's just one little line, and it says, "And there arose a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph."
Wow.
If you build a relationship with an organization, there's going to come a day the organization's just not going to remember you.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because it's not real. It's
Yeah.
just a thing. They're not going to remember you.
Yeah.
And that scares me, like on a deep, like relational level with my kids and my wife and my family and my friends and the organizations outside of a business that I've built and am currently building. We have a ministry that we started back in 2003, and I remember going into this other organization's office, and they had these pictures on the wall, and it was all the old presidents of their organization. And it was like, the first one was like oil painting, right? Like some guy from like 1862 from the Civil War, and then all the way to the current president. And I asked the receptionist, I'm like, who's that guy? The first guy. She's like, I don't know. You could build something and no one's going to remember you for it.
You know,
And that scares me.
so let's talk about that, because I want to talk about that, because one of the first companies that I started, we named it Legacy, because legacy is something that's really important to me. And I don't want to build an organization. I don't even want to build, like you talk about them forgetting you. And a lot of people, I think, get confused about what legacy is. I want to build a legacy because it's not about people remembering me. True legacy is that you affect people and then they do things and that effect continues to multiply. And they don't have to remember who you are. But if I can affect this small group of people to make a change in an industry, I don't care if you remember me or not.
Yeah.
But if in 100 years from now, the trades are different because we had this conversation and 5 people listened to it and then talked to 5 other people about it, that's what legacy is. What you do today becomes your legacy. You will have one way or the other. The question is, will you have a good legacy? Will you have a meaningful legacy? Or will you just have a legacy of doing
Meh, whatever. Yeah. And that's one thing. Like, I say that about that organization, they got the sign on the wall. What I didn't say is,
come on.
When I asked the receptionist, who is not part of the ministry, right? Not part of, she doesn't go out and do the heavy lifting. She's the secretary, the receptionist. When I asked her what mattered, like I essentially asked her, like, what does this place stand for? She told me and how it mattered to her. And it was the same essential mission statement that guy from 1862 wrote down.
Come on.
So nobody in the office actually knows him.
So his legacy did live on, though.
Everybody lived on. And like they had made decisions for those 100+ years that kept their organization small. You'd never even know this organization existed. But the people who were in it were deeply impacted by that mission statement. And then the people they worked with were deeply impacted by that. They just didn't grow very big.
Yeah.
It was like 20 people. Yeah. 50 people, whatever. And so that's where something that I learned about legacy, about all these things, where does it come from? How do you go? How do you do? Is there's no small jobs. And it's not just, I'm just a welder. I'm just a welder operator.
Come on, here it is.
Like, what we do matters so much. And not just what we do, but how we do it. There's so much value in the little things of doing things the right way. And where does that value come from? It's like this compound value. So we'll start, I'll go back to like a landscaping job. We'll start, there's a road or a walkway with pavers on it. And we're going to dig those pavers out. We're going to reuse those pavers because they're really expensive, right? They're really nice. We're going to reuse them. We're going to change all the landscape up. We're going to move the road, and then we're going to put it back.
Yeah.
So the company says, hey, we got the A team. They're out there doing all the cool stuff. And then we got the B team. They're out there mowing the grass. They're doing a great job. Then we got the C team. They're over there. We don't really trust them to do much. We're going to send the C team over to take up that walkway and palletize those bricks because they get paid the least, and that's the most menial task we have. So we'll do that. Okay, cool. Turns out, when you go back to finish the job and put those pavers back down, They're all in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
They aren't properly cleaned. So now you have the quote unquote A team over there wiping sand off of pavers before you can put them back down.
Come on.
The first thing was the most important thing, even
Yeah.
though to the world, to the company, it was the most menial task. Doing the first thing right, the smallest thing right, correct. It compounds. Every step is better and easier and more efficient and quicker. Every step then adds value.
Why do you think in the trades we do this thing where we devalue ourselves?
Because for the last 60 plus years, since 1964, when the draft was instituted and we started to go to Vietnam, and you could get out of being a grunt by going to college, we told people, if you have value, if you're worth living, if your life is worth the living, you're going to go to college. And if it's not, if you can't afford it, if you can't get out of it, you're going to go to war and die.
Wow.
That's why we're where we are.
Wow.
If we really want to get down into it. We told an entire generation, starting in the 60s, that if your life had any value, you were going to get out of being a grunt.
Wow.
You're going to go to Canada. You're going to go to college. You're going to have something wrong with your feet.
Yeah.
And anyone who can't afford it and doesn't have any value is going to go and die.
Wow.
So then everyone said, go to work, go to college. And at some point, like Mike Rowe says, the trades didn't become like a second version of things. It became the last line. It became something you're not even allowed to see.
Yeah.
You can't even look at what the trades are. You're not even going to get an introduction to what electricity is in high school. You are not. You're either going to go to college, you're going to go to the military, and then, if you can't even get into the military, gosh, I guess you have to go be a garbage man.
Wow.
Little do they know, like a state or a city employee garbage man, back in the 90s was making $80K a year.
Well, I
And
love,
going
there's
fishing every week.
There's a book that's actually titled Garbage, and it is about the sanitation industry. I recently read it, and it talks about how in San Diego, the garbage and sanitation men, literally, we call it, what do we renamed it? Waste or
Waste management.
Waste management,
Yeah.
But in that industry, they saved lives
Mm-hmm.
because they used to just dump stuff in the ocean.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Good
they're like,
idea, right?
Maybe there's a better way to do this. And do you know who came up with the better idea and the better way to do it? The garbage man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're in the position we're in where people are like, like I'm just this, I'm just that. And they've devalued it because the entire culture for 60 plus years has told us that we are worthless.
So what do you say to the guy that's an operator or a loader that's out there and he's like, I'm just a loader operator. I'm just a haul truck driver. I'm just a carpenter. Like, what do you say to those people?
I don't know yet. I'm working on it because I know what I think.
Well, what do you think?
When I was a kid and these old dudes were showing me what it meant to be a man and what it meant to be a tradesman and what it meant to work and what real life was about, they didn't view themselves like that. They instilled in me, like, hold your head up high.
Absolutely.
Like we get to do this awesome job. Like I can remember doing something like we had to go to these places, like huge, beautiful pools and these wealthy people's houses, and we got to like build these amazing outdoor living spaces and get paid lots and lots of money to do it. And like here we are, we're eating a sandwich, we're sitting on a hill. Nobody's ever been on this hill before. Like currently, so I work in the mining industry, and currently we work in these mines, and we help rebuild crushers. And the 20 guys who work in the mine,
Yeah, you help rebuild crushers. We're looking at a piece of it right here. Yeah,
the 20 guys who work in that mine are the only people who have ever seen what they're seeing.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
The 1954, it's Mezzo now, but the 1954 jaw die crusher that we're rebuilding, no one in the world's ever seen it other than the guy who works for ConAg, the project manager, me, a couple nerd welders. Like, we're the only people who can fix this.
Yeah.
And if you want a road, you better have a 1954 Mezzo to crush the mountain into 3/4 gravel.
Yeah.
You go on currently in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, there's a $390 million interchange getting built. It's going to be a 6-year job. Okay. They need over 1 million tons a year, 1 million tons of stone a year to make that job happen. Do you want to drive on a nice highway? That's what we get to do because we're loader operators, because we're welders, because we're electricians. What we do matters. And if you don't do it, no one else is going to do it.
So this is what I say to the loader operator, the carpenter, the plumber, the haul truck driver. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think about what you talked about, Navy SEALs versus, an E5 and different aspects of it. I believe if your job is something that isn't seen, but yet you're contributing value to people other than yourself, thank you. Because you are creating and supporting culture and society to live a life that we don't even realize you're sacrificing for. And for that, I am grateful because my children, my mother who is aging, my wife, my friends, we are all able to live a life because of the work that you do. And I think that's what the rest of people need to realize, because we become so self-centered and so focused on our stuff that we forget we need to expand our view and look beyond ourselves and realize that there are other people that make things happen, that we're able to live the way that we live.
Yeah. And we can be part of that.
We can be
a part of making this world go around. Like, the other thing is, how does a loader operator, an excavator, a plumber find that value and look at what they do? You can't look at other people to give you that value. You can't. So, like, again, I don't need somebody outside of myself to say you're doing a great job.
Come on.
There are times when, on a dark side, it's like, no one else can do this. Go ahead, try.
Yeah.
We work harder. We go further. We do more. No, you couldn't keep up. Get out of here, nerd. Seriously, sometimes the only thing keeping me going when I'm elbow deep in something in the dead of winter and I feel like I'm dying is like, no one else could do this. Get up. Yeah. It's that David Goggins kind of weird back of your mind. I'm making up things to be mad about. Nobody actually is saying that I suck, but I'm like, they think they can get up here and do this? Who's going to dig this frozen rock out of this thing? Nobody's going to. I'm going to do it. So some of that value has to come from you. That
Absolutely.
What you do matters.
Absolutely.
You have to learn.
And what you do does matter.
You have to learn to tell your story to yourself, to talk to yourself, to
in
your mind say I might be trash, but I'm good trash. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to change that narrative in your mind of saying nope, this matters.
I think words matter, and the words that we use matter. Mm-hmm. The things that we say, when something leaves your mouth, it lands somewhere and it produces fruit. And so it's if you are going to say, I suck, and there's a balance between thinking
Definitely
that you're all that and whatnot, but words really matter. And if you're the kind of person that you're devaluing yourself, you need to stop it, because the reality is, I believe that you've been created for greatness. One of the greatest things that happened to me, I had a good childhood. I had good parents, and I didn't realize that not everybody was told that they were created for a purpose that was greatness. I can remember my mom, a very young boy, being tucked in at night, and I can remember my mother saying, "Joshua, you've been created for great things." And, the crazy thing that happened when I became an adult, I remembered that when I was in those moments where I was like, this sucks. This is hard. And then I remembered the voice of my mother being like, you've been created for great things. And so 2 things here that I would say. One, this is me saying it to you. If you're any of these things and you feel like you don't have value, hear me when I say this. You do. And you have been created for great things. And if you are one of those people and you have children or you have people in your life, you have a responsibility to be that voice like my mother was to me, to say, you have been created for great things. Yeah. I mean, there's purpose in life.
Yeah, as a counterpoint to that, because I just can't help myself.
I love it.
Like, I get that. Yep, I believe that. Somebody a long time ago said the most exceptional thing that you can do is live a normal little life. Like, have normal little kids that grow up to be normal people. Like,
but those are great things.
Exactly. It's
those
reframing,
are great things.
And that's what it is. It's reframing what we consider great. I
view the man or woman that we don't see
as great.
As great.
Yeah,
I do. Actually,
that's what I mean.
Yes.
That's what I want to get to. Is like, oh, you can do great things. What does that look like? To me, it means I may not make a lot of money right now, but because I have this business, 2 of my employees are going to pay their rent or mortgage this week.
That is a great thing.
That's an amazing thing. And so what needs to happen for somebody to, like, and we're going to use the loader guy, for someone to be operating a loader and to think to themselves, I'm not just a loader operator, is they have to be more than just a loader operator.
There it is.
They can find some purpose in the work, the physical work that they do, the running of electrical, the moving of mountains of stone. But at the end of the day, if you're a loader operator, you're picking up stones out of a pile and you're putting them in a dump truck.
Yeah.
You're picking up stones out of a site that was blasted and you're bringing them over to the crusher. Like, that's what you're doing. And there is value in that we can come to understand. But then beyond that, what makes a person of value, a high caliber person? They have integrity. They have honesty. So if you're in your loader and you're watching 6 hours of porn and falling asleep in the back pit, guess what? You're just a loader operator. And I'm not proud of you.
Yeah.
And no one else is.
And no one else is.
And you suck and you should get fired.
Absolutely.
And when you get fired, it's not the company that sucks. It's you that sucks.
Yeah.
Right? And so I want to be really, really, really honest with that. But
I love that.
And if you
Daniel.
want to get to the point where you're not just an electrician or not just, you don't need to add more stuff and like get a new truck. You need to start finding purpose in other things. And so if you are an electrician and you're making good money and you just feel like, man, is this all there is? It's not. You need to find a way to give back.
Oh, there it is.
You need to find someone that you could pour into. You need to sacrifice or sacrificially give. Not just like, well, I've got an extra $50, I'm going to buy the boys pizza.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to pay, like, and I'm saying from an ownership point of perspective, it does not make financial sense for me to take care of this thing for one of my employees. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because they matter. You need to start to give other people value.
Absolutely.
Right? And again, start with finding that value in the thing that you do. It does matter on some level. Then I have to be a person of integrity. I have to be honest. I can't just hide the problem underneath. You know, I had a guy break something one time and he just tossed it under the bench and grabbed a new one. And then broke that one and tossed it under the bench and grabbed a new one. Like Tim, who works for me now, he's a great guy. If something breaks, he's like, hey, this broke.
Yeah.
I love it. Please tell me. Like, that's somebody who has integrity. That's someone I can trust with the very expensive pieces of equipment that we run.
Absolutely.
You know, like if my truck blows up tomorrow and I have to if I got to go buy a brand new one, it's a $250,000 truck.
Yeah.
Right? Am I going to buy a $250,000 truck? Heck no. I'm going to find one that's 10 years old that costs 80, right? Like, I'm not spending that much money. But anyway, you know, so find the value in what you do. It does exist. Have integrity, honesty, then find a way to do something bigger than yourself and give back sacrificially when it hurts.
Yeah.
And when you can do those things, all of a sudden you have a different set of eyes to look at the world through. You actually are doing something of value. You actually are a person who's making a contribution in this world. You are leaving a legacy. Go coach a softball team or a baseball team that isn't your kids, and don't be a loser.
Yeah.
Like, actually show up with a clean shirt on.
Come on.
Run with the boys.
Yeah.
Right? Like, be the best freaking coach that you can be to those boys. Give them something to live up to.
Yeah.
Like, don't just be like showing up, like throwing your beer cans in the back of your truck. And you know what that means? That means you have to make changes. Well, I can't run laps with the baseball team. Well, figure out how you can.
Yeah.
I don't care how old you are. Like, take some pride in how you look. Tuck your shirt in once.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like tucking my shirt in. Why? Because I have a big belly. Okay. Like, you have to start somewhere, and it's going to hurt.
Absolutely.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. And then sometime in the future, you look around and you're like, And the guys that I look up to, that's what they've done.
Yeah.
They've said this menial thing that I do. Like, I'm going to say it out loud. Being a landscaper is like the lowest job on the totem pole. Okay? It really is.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's got a huge amount of value. You know how I know that? Because there are people with multi-million-dollar companies that do the lowest job on the totem pole.
Absolutely.
Okay? Like, we did a job one time for the owner of Suburban Propane. That guy's driveway costs more than most people's houses times 3. We did a job for a guy who owned a medical, he invented this medical thing, and then family company, he wound up like exiting that company, and he bought a lake, and then bought all the houses on the lake, and then built his own house.
Yeah.
And we got to be part of that project.
Come on.
Because landscapers have value in this world. He wanted to sit in his backyard and look at something more beautiful than you could possibly imagine.
To that point, I was involved in a project where I can't actually say what it is, but the person is one of the largest employers in the country. And so they had a project that we were doing something that was really simple, and it costs more money than you can imagine. And the company that they own, that they employ these people with, are people that trim trees. Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
They operate chainsaws and trim trees. And this guy near, we'll call it the capital of the most powerful nation in the world, owns a lot of land and has a very nice driveway as well. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but they trim trees.
Yeah. And so you find that internal value, that value in the thing you do.
Yeah.
And then you start to treat people better than they deserve. Like, they're just, it matters. Everything we do matters. It just all matters.
So this is a great segue into a question that I want to ask you that I think actually brings us some of the most value out of these conversations. We say when you step up to the line in our podcast, we call it an honest conversation.
That's what we're doing.
Because we don't edit anything. And so with that, one of the things through the past couple of years of doing this that I have discovered, and I love to ask people, is what is a mistake that you have made that you're willing to share with those who are listening that you've learned from, that others might gain value from?
So it would be easy to say, well, I bought this business and it didn't work, or I did this job and they stiffed me and it was because of this, or I took on this project and I couldn't complete it in time. Like, I took on a project building something for a guy. It started as a repair, turned into a build. It got way out of hand. I was thousands under it, but I had to do it for the price I told him.
Yeah.
And my back went out and it just got wild. I mean, it was crazy. Got done. He was like, this is terrible. I'm not paying you for this. And he was right.
Wow.
It wasn't worth it.
Wow.
And I could say that was like the biggest mistake I ever made. It's not. It isn't. You know what the biggest mistake I've ever made? Trusting myself that I knew it all.
Wow.
Going into something. Oh, yeah. I did good here. And I went to the next success, and I went to the third success, and I went to the fourth success. I don't need to rely on anybody else. I got it all under control. That's the biggest mistake I made, was not trusting the people around me, not just saying I got this because I've got it before, not making the phone calls to the people who can help me. What
happened that caused you to go to that place?
I had 2 successes in a row. I'm like, bro, I did this great, like one of the best jobs coolest jobs I ever did. And I did it. I made tons of money on it. I'm like, man, I think I finally figured out the formula. I take on these cool jobs. I do them. It's awesome. And then I went to the next one, and then the next one. And then I got myself in way over my head because I just didn't ask anybody for help, because I knew I could do it. I was successful, and I had the Midas touch.
Yeah.
Everything I do, I make money at, right?
Yeah.
And I found myself inside of an asphalt burner, a tube that mixes asphalt and cooks asphalt. I found myself inside an asphalt burner in the dead of winter on the phone with the bank because they were like, hey, just wanted to let you know you have $1.08 in your bank account, and
Wow.
it looks like you have some pending charges. And I said, yep, that's correct. And I got off the phone. I called my wife. I said, honey, I'm really sorry, but we don't have any money.
Wow.
There's $208 or 200. It was like 250 some dollars. I said, I know that's in our personal bank account.
Yeah.
We're not getting paid this week. And I'm taking that and I'm putting it into the business account. And when I'm done, there will be less than $2 in that business account again.
Wow.
But at least it'll get us to the end of the month.
Wow.
So I had $0 at home. I had $0 in the bank account for the business. And the end of the month, like all the bills were paid.
Yeah.
Mortgage was paid. So I had 30 days, right?
Yeah.
The mistake was I didn't tell my wife beforehand.
Ooh.
She should have known leading the whole month. She should have known we have this much in accounts receivable. We have this much in accounts payable. If you look at that balance, they're going to equal out. Then we have this much potential work coming up. Now, I thought I could just do it all on my own because I'd been doing it all on my own for a year, and had made the right decision. I made the right calls. I did it all right. The mistake wasn't that I ran low on cash flow. That's everybody does that. That's just normal. The mistake was not inviting the people who mattered into my life to share that burden with me, because it was more than I could handle.
Yeah.
And their job is to help.
Yeah.
Their job is to bear the burden with you, bear one another's burdens.
Yeah.
I said, no, I could take it all on my shoulders because I'm strong and I'm tough and I'm smart and I make money hand over fist.
Hmm.
So that's probably the biggest mistake I've ever made, was not inviting those people that matter into it to share it with me.
You talk about two things when you share that, and I don't know that anybody has ever shared their biggest mistake. So that's the line first. And I appreciate that honesty because that's painful. But I actually think the bigger the mistake that we share, the more value that it brings.
Yeah.
And you touch on something that I think is really essential, especially in the trades. There are those of you who are listening who are really hard workers, very successful.
Yeah.
Some of the best people that I've ever worked with and that are the most highly skilled in the trades are the worst at asking for help.
Yep. 100%.
What would you say to those men and women that are out there about asking for help?
It's a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And usually by the time you need to ask, like, I don't mean
I know
you should have asked many, many times. There was many opportunities. By the time you're forced to ask, a lot of times it's too late.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's too late. And I praise God every day that my wife didn't leave me.
Yeah.
Because there were times where I would leave for work and not call, not come home.
Yeah.
And the longest stretch of work I've ever done is 29 days straight.
Wow.
I got home on the 23rd of December.
Wow.
Showed up. Hey, Merry Christmas, kids. I think I left in between Christmas and New Year's. I went back out on the road.
Wow.
For years, the only people I ever said no to was my family.
Yeah.
For years. And I never asked for help. I bore all this weight. Like, you don't think it's that much if you've never done it before, but
Yeah.
everything I have, everything I made, every mortgage payment came off my back.
Yeah.
And there's a weight to that. Every year my daughter signed up for soccer.
Yeah.
It didn't come from 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And every time I said, oh, I'm going to show up at your game Thursday at 2 p.m. for junior high game, I had to pay the man for that every single time.
Yeah.
Other parents are like, oh, you're so lucky you get to come to games on Wednesdays. I paid
Yeah.
in no uncertain terms. I paid in sweat and blood and fear and tears for every single hour. Every single hour. And I can't get any of it back.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where I'm going with that, but what was the question again?
Well,
Like,
I would say, you know,
like,
I asked
how to
you
get people into
how to ask for help and
ask for help.
and
So
ask faster.
yeah, so I thought I couldn't ask for help because no one could help me. I thought that I had to have the answer, like, what's the solution before I ask for the help? I had to like
I
give
know
it
that feeling.
I had to give the person I'm asking for help the solution so
Yeah.
then they could do it. Because I'm the solution guy. I'm the owner. I'm the only person. And welders are, I don't know if they're worse at this. I don't think so. But something that happens to welders that do like repair work and maintenance work is we go to a job that no one in the environment that problem is has been able to fix.
Yeah.
And there's no
Yeah.
solution, there's no blueprint. And if you don't get it right the first time, they kick you out.
Yeah.
And so we have a chip on our shoulder. And
You really are going to a gauntlet. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, the
And I'm
other guy
sure-
didn't make it, so you're up.
Yeah. Like I went and fixed a tractor or a triaxle one time. They said we have 4 other welders here. It's been 6 months since this triaxle's been on the road. The bed's twisted. They can't straighten it out. Have fun.
Wow.
And they left me alone
Wow.
with this. I mean, it was a brand new truck that got rolled over on the highway. What are you going to do? So how do you ask for help faster? I would say start asking for help something smaller.
Yeah.
Like before it gets to the point where you'll die if you don't get an answer.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I did after I realized that $1 in the bank situation is I am not immediately after I learned that lesson. So my solution was I'm going to quit the trades. I said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And I was trying to find a way out. What else could a kid who fell asleep in math class do in this world
Right.
that isn't breaking my back and dying? What is it? I'm like, maybe I could work in an office, be an insurance guy. Like I'm looking for all kinds of other solutions and went very far down the road on those things.
Yeah.
And so I was like, who else is in the same situation? One of my friends. And so I called him. And I said, hey, man, this is where I'm at. And he's like, wow, that sucks. Yeah, he's just honest with me. That sucks.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, if you need a hand, give me a shout like on Wednesday and I'll come up to the shop. Okay. And so I asked for help with something small. And before it got to the big thing, I invited my wife in to see where we really were. I said, this is where we're at. Like there is a ton of money coming. But for this next 3 weeks, we're going to have to pinch the pennies until that money comes in. She's like, oh, okay, cool. She never complained one time before that.
Wow.
It would just get to the point where I'm like, don't pay that.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't ask me a question. She'd just be like, okay.
Yeah.
And she just trusted me that it was going to work out. I said, don't pay that. Well, it's a month late. Yeah, don't pay that.
Yeah.
Because that's the least late thing.
Right. Right.
And so inviting her in sooner.
Yeah.
And then as you do that, you realize, oh, some people I can trust and some people I can't. You kind of suss out who the trustworthy people are. And then you invite them in sooner and to bigger things.
I think a great way to check yourself about asking for help is if you're not asking because of fear, then you should definitely be asking. If you're fearful of what the response might be, or you're fearful of what might happen, then I would say, because in my opinion, fear is never a good motivator for anything. When I am, well, and you can disagree with me. He's done it throughout the entire podcast. Concern and fear are different. Words matter.
Yes.
Fear is evil.
Yeah. Okay.
Fear is evil. Concern, that you should be concerned about certain things
There
that
you
you
go.
do.
I can get down
But
with that.
fear is evil. And so if you are fearful about something, it's okay to be concerned about having a conversation with your wife about something that's hard. That's good because you'll be prepared for what might come. But to be fearful of it and to let fear drive you from making that call, that's a mistake. Yeah. And that's the mistake that you don't want them to repeat.
Yeah.
That's the mistake that you need to learn from.
Yeah. So I found myself in this very shop. It was like 3:00 in the morning. So I would work every hour, all the hours, as many hours and as many days as humanly possible. I can remember my kids were probably like, it was that 2020, 2021 kind of time frame. And I was down in the shop, and there's a lot of stuff changing, and we're making better decisions. It's like 3:00 in the morning, 2:00 in the morning, something like that. I'm in here working, and I came to the understanding that coming down here, going out there, being on the road, doing all the things that other people think are hard was actually the easy thing for me.
Mm.
And the hard thing, I realized that I was afraid of being a dad.
Wow.
I was afraid of being a good husband. From the outward, I'm sure I looked fine enough. People were like, he's so fun. And I was dying. But anyway, I realized that I had to go up to the house.
Come on.
Wake my wife up and tell her, I'm sorry. Would you forgive me? Because it's easier for me to be in the shop working till 3 o'clock in the morning than to come up here and help with dinner.
Wow.
And that just wrecked me for a long time. Like, I'm an old-fashioned kind of a guy. I don't want to get down in the fields with people. Like, you know how you get better? Get going. That's it. There's no other option. Well, it's hard. Good. Like, those are my answers. My kids are like, that's all you ever say, Dad. Yeah. You're right. Their friends are like, your dad's so funny. You're good. You're cool. My kids are like, oh, he does talk about hard stuff. Yeah, because that's all I know.
Yeah.
But the real hard stuff was walking up the 500 feet up that hill at 2 o'clock in the morning to tell my wife that I'm sorry that I wasn't a good husband. I wasn't a good dad. And you know what? It made the next time I had to say sorry so much easier. The next time I had to ask for help, so much easier.
It's a muscle, for sure.
And then, that led to down the road. I realized I could only do so much by myself in business.
There it is.
So I had to find help. I had to reach out to a coach and tell that coach, Josh Hewitt, Tradesman Experience, tell that coach, I suck, dude.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. I suck at this business thing. And he's like, you're right. You do. Yeah. Here's how you can fix that. Then I had to go and say, okay, I think I need employees to help me because I can't lift this by myself. I think I might need a partner. Okay, that means I have to reorganize my business. I have to end one business, which I've had for a really long time, 10 plus years of being in business, 12 plus years of being in business. I got to end that to start something new, make a short-term sacrifice so long-term we could be better off. Yep, I had to find a partner.
Necessary endings are the start to greater beginnings.
Yeah,
so
because I'm dying here. Yeah. I'm dying here. But I'm tell you the truth.
I like that.
If you ain't dying, you still got a little ways to go. I'm serious.
No,
there's an old.
I had this conversation yesterday. I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's an old. It's not that old. This guy, he said, this young guy. He's like, I want to make it. And so he finds a guru. A guy who's been there, done it, richest guy he knows. And he says, Guru, I want to make it. He says, okay, meet me at the beach tomorrow, 5 a.m. Show up at the beach. He says, okay, what am I doing here? He said, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. Come out in the water with me. Go out in the water, a little deeper. It's up to his knees, elbows. I'm not ready to swim. Doesn't matter. Come on out. Elbows, chest, neck. Come out a little further. And the guru grabs the guy and stuffs him under the water and holds him there. 30 seconds, 40 seconds. 50 seconds, a minute. He's screaming, freaking. The poor kid, he's drowning, literally drowning. The guru's drowning him.
Come on.
Pulls him up out of the water. Do you want it? Shoves him back in. Holds him for a little longer. The kid flails away, runs, gets out onto the beach. The guru comes out. Do you want to make it more than you wanted to breathe? No? Then you won't make it.
Yeah.
And if you have trouble asking for help, you just haven't hurt enough.
Yeah.
I wish there was a faster way, and maybe that faster way is listening to conversations like this. There's another old saying that says, "It's a fool who learns his own lessons." So while I believe you got to learn them yourself, you can read a book.
Yeah.
You can ask a coach. You can listen to these conversations, and you can make better decisions next time. But really, it boils down to you gotta almost die. Yeah. That's all it takes. If you want to get help sooner, almost die.
Well, I think it ultimately comes down to dying to yourself first.
Go.
And if you can wrap your head around that can change your life. Daniel, I so appreciate you stepping up to the line. The reality is, like most tradespeople, you step up to the line every day. Today, you just happened to do it with me, and I greatly appreciate that. I thank you for your time and your conversation, the value that you've brought to those who are listening. Thank you for stepping up to the line.
Right on. Anytime.
All right, man.
Yep. Anybody who wants to reach out, basically talk about this stuff nonstop.
For those that are listening, where can they find you online?
The best place to find me is Instagram, Daniel_Apex Welding.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. All right.